All right, what is going on, guys? It is time for another episode of the Chasing Waypoints podcast. And this time around, we are episode number 84. And we have got another In the Bivouac this time around. You guys saw the title. You know who it is. We're going to be talking to him here shortly. Just going to get him the link here in a few minutes. But how's everybody doing? Right? It's September. We're getting to Rally Month. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode with the Dakar Rally preview. Had a lot of fun talking to those guys, and man, are they getting ready. It is Sunday, 10 a.m., and it is starting to heat up in Montrose, Colorado, with the first day of the Dakar Rally starting tomorrow. So absolutely excited to see how that progresses and what is going to be happening. I think it's going to be a really fun time. But we'll see, you know? Lots of challenges, lots of stuff. Try and get maybe get a special guest appearance, maybe in between episodes. Get Mo Hart on here. He was out verifying the stages for the rally, so it'd be really interesting to talk to him about it and how it's going. I'm looking forward to getting some news from them and sharing that with all of you guys. So make sure you're tuned into all the socials. Chasing Waypoints on Instagram and also Chasing Waypoints on Facebook. Oh, we even got a YouTube channel. Haven't done a lot with it lately, but coming soon. Actually, let's talk a little bit about that. We're going to be doing, I'm going to go back and revisit. We've got a ton of people that have been reaching out, talking about, you know, hey, I'm looking to get into rally. What's the next best thing? What do I need to do? How do I get going? Where's the rally schools and all of that stuff? I've been putting together some information, getting some stuff together for you guys, and we're going to be doing that on the next episode. So, little quick preview, episode 85, we're going to be talking, we're going to revisit the subject. Starting from zero, let's get into rally. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that, you know, some of the plans, some of the things that are going on. In the last couple of weeks, I found a really bitchin' setup to get some kind of a cap reader, Odo reader, albeit low budget, totally not professional grade, but good enough to do the job and get people into rally. And it's going to save you some money. That way, once you get ready to step up and get into this addiction that we call Rally Raid, or the world of Rally Raid, you'll be set up. So I'm absolutely looking forward to that one, talking a little bit about that with you guys, because honestly, that has been one of the biggest shows that we have done here. I still go back and I look at the top 10 shows, and those shows are still ranked of some of the highest in this. So that is out there. People who want to get into Rally Raid, we're going to be that resource again for it. So I am looking forward to putting that episode together for you guys, talking with them. And then back in that episode, we've got the beginning of Rally Month. That is right. October right around the corner. First week of October, we're going to be starting it right with the Baja Rally 6-day. So going to be looking forward to that one. Going to be down there and meeting up with the guys, Mauricio, Daniel, and of course, Scotty Bloom. So absolutely looking forward to that. We're going to do a preview show with them as well, so you guys can get some information on the rally and what is coming up. Man, we are getting hammered right now. It is coming. We've had a Hurricane K come up the coast. I saw this a couple of years ago. I was with the organization when that happened, so I'm absolutely stoked to talk to them a little bit more about how they're going to be handling that and getting everything going. Oh, man, look at that. I missed the outro. The party just straight up cut off. That's horrible. Maybe I should automate it so it kind of starts fading on its own, and then that way I don't have to do it. I don't know. Eventually I'll get it. But anyway, so that is definitely the happening. I am looking forward to it. I'm talking to the guys, finding out a little bit more about what's been going on in the rally, what's going to be unique. This is really my first year where I've really been hands off, had not had really any exposure to the rally and what has been going on. I have been keeping up like you with the press releases from Baja Rally and what's been coming our way, what they've been sending our way. And so I am absolutely excited to get a little bit more info on what is going to be happening at the rally. Again, that is the first week of October 2nd through the 8th. Going to be down, based out of the San Quintin area. My understanding is we're headed south into Catavenia for a few days. The racers will even make their way as far south as LA Bay or Bahia de Los Angeles. So I'm looking forward to it. Find a little bit more, get back down there, get up with the rally family, everybody that we've met over the years and talked to. I'm looking forward to being in the bivouac down there. Going to be doing some episodes. I'm really looking forward to, just bringing you guys some coverage, some pictures, things like that. So it's going to be good. It is going to be a great time. So anyway, today's episode, right? So we had our episode a few episodes ago. I hope you guys got a chance to check it out and sat down and took the time to get through it, because we talked to all 10 American entrants into the 2023 Dakar. So Ricky Brabeck, Skyler Howes, Mason Klein, the entire American Rally Originals team, as well as Ace Nielsen and Jacob Argubright. So that was a really fun episode. But in that episode, something came up, something we missed. And this was actually on Skyler Howes. Skyler Howes was the one that brought it to our attention. And that is today's guest, Petr Vlcek, is actually running as an American for the Dakar, or at the Dakar this year. He's going to be flying the American flag, and this is going to be, we're going to find out. He is no stranger to Dakar, no stranger to racing. So I'm looking forward to finding out a little bit more about the game plans and what he's been doing, and the experience that he's gained, because he's definitely put the work in at these rallies, at the Dakar Rally, and knows a lot about it. So I'm hoping to get some more intel for you guys about it and what he's going to be doing. And then the change, I don't know. I guess you can elect what country you ride for based on, I believe you have to be a citizen of both, maybe dual citizenship. So we're going to get to the bottom of it. We will find out what is happening on this. Let me get this going here. Invite friends to join. Again, we're using the Anchor app. I know you guys have heard the commercials. There's the boring elevator music. Let's get rid of that. I know you guys have heard the commercial on there. I appreciate anybody that's done that. And again, I actually say, if you're interested in learning about, more about it, and starting your own podcast, you think, you want to share your experiences or something like that, hit me up. I love helping it. Podcasts are one of those things that are just kind of starting to grow and grow and grow. Back when I was rambling on about a BMW versus a KTM, the 850 versus the 790, never would I have thought that would be nearing 1,000 listens. Just that episode, the very first episode. No intros, no outros, just me rambling for like an hour. But here we are, 84 episodes later, 21,000 listens across the globe, 78 different countries. I'm saying those numbers and it just feels like I'm, recycling something, but or just regurgitate. But it's crazy. Like, I think about that and I'm like, man, that is really big. And you know what? It's all Rally family, people that have been on the show, that have shared their thoughts and their experiences and stuff like that. So it has been a hell of a ride. Still coming. And we've got episode 100 that we're getting ready for. We still haven't picked a location of where we're going to set up, but the goal is to set up a bivouac, have some stuff going on, and definitely have a lot of fun with the guys and just everybody hang out and kind of meet and greet, talk rally, talk shop, do some rides, whatever, just chill for the weekend, and get to put names to faces and stuff like that. So that is the plan. All right. It is 6:00 on the dot. Let me get this over to Petr. We'll go this way, then we'll go to that. I'm doing this all live, right? Fortune favors the brave. At least that's what they say. All right. Sent him the link. Let's jump back to the app. I'm going to keep an eye here, make sure to see when he jumps on. But yeah, so he's also on Instagram. If you guys haven't followed us out, Wolfie Racing is his handle on Instagram. So I am looking forward to talking to him about it, because I know him and Skyler were teammates on the Klimshu. I totally butchered that. So we'll look at some clarification from him. But to find out a little bit more about him on that team and what he's been doing in his experience. Again, I mean, he's got all this stuff that we've seen. I've seen some posts where he's hanging out with Skyler Howes at the race, Vegas to Reno, and doing all these things. So I'm definitely curious to find out more about it. As I'm talking about him, it looks like he just jumped in. Petr, are you there?
Yeah. Hey, Victor. How are you?
Doing well. Yourself?
Doing good.
Excellent.
Thanks for contacting me and having me over tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And audio is perfect. Very, very good. So this came up when we were doing our, when we thought that there was only, or when I thought there was only 10 entrants from the American side headed into Dakar. But Skyler Howes shed some light.
Yes.
And he said, so you were entered this year for the 2023, or well, I should say next year, for next year's Dakar.
Yes, I'm entered for 2023 Dakar in Saudi for Original by Motul. Got my letter like everybody else. I haven't made much public thing about it because I always believe it when you see your number. Or with the red bag, without or with the red background. Because in the past, I got a number and didn't have a red background and we had to fix it. So I will really be fully 100% excited when I see the number.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hear you. It's kind of like, okay, it's almost like you want to pinch yourself. Is this a dream? Is this real? I got the letter. So,
yeah,
checking the boxes. So, which brings up something interesting. So you're no stranger to Dakar. I was blown through your pictures on Instagram. What year is this for you? How many times have you been to the Dakar?
So this will be my 5th year on the bike.
Okay.
And a 6th year because I did the one in the car in the Dakar Classic in 2021.
Okay. All right. So that was not this year's, but last year's. And then before that, it's been all motorcycles.
Yes.
Nice. So let's start somewhere, right? Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Tell me a little bit about getting into rally. How did that even happen?
Also, all the way to the beginning is, I guess, I'm 47 years old, and I moved to the U.S. when I was 20. So I spent more time on U.S. soil of my life than I spent in my home country, which that's why the previous Dakars always were raced as a Czech. I got into rally, actually. I bought a first dirt bike when I was like 36, 37. And in 2013, in February, it was the Ultrider did the event in Pahrump, Nevada, called Taste of the Dakar. And at that time, me and two of my friends, we went cross country. I had a KTM 990. One of them had a GS, and another one had a 10RA to check out this event because it's like, if it's the Taste of Dakar. So we rode there, got there. That was the year when Johnny Campbell was there with one of the first Honda models of the rally bike. So I got to see the first rally bike. And after that event, I was just like, man, this looks pretty awesome. Like, I want to try it. So in October 2013, it was like the first, I think it was a 3-day Baja Rally. It was one of the first rallies kind of put up. So I signed up for that, entered that. It was a bunch of big guys like Ned Seuss was there. I think Cameron Steele, Quinn Cody. A lot of the guys, they already experienced rally and the Dakar and stuff like that was there too. So it was really very eye-opening for me. I think where everything started changing for me, because at the similar time when I started developing interest, one of my really good friends from back home started racing like 2RX rallies and started doing all the rallies with the hope to preparing for Dakar. So he went to Dakar 2015, and me and one of my really good friends, we just flew there to cheer for him, to see him on the podium, because before that I only knew Dakar from being in a communist country, because the Tatra and Lias, the trucks back in the day were winning, so communists let that go on TV and stuff like that. So I was like, man, I have a chance to go actually be behind the podium and to see the real start of the Dakar. Obviously, it was in South America, but still, it is still a Dakar. So we flew there, cheer for him. He ended up finishing as the second best rookie and did top 20 at his first Dakar. At the 10 days or 12 days, what we had to spare, me and my friend rented 2 BMWs all the way in the bottom of Argentina, and we rode through the whole Patagonia and Chile and stuff. So, but I think the breaking point was like being in the VIP section on the starting podium, and like the Dakar videos were playing everything and the riders coming up, like something changed inside me. And from that moment, I was like, man, I will give anything to try to race this, see if I'm even capable possibly doing it. So I thought it will get out of my system. But like even like 3 months after that, when I was already back in South Carolina, my friend was back home, all the jitters of the whole experience, but still was there. So I called him up. I was like, hey, obviously I'm total mediocre rider, but like, would you maybe help me or test me out if it's even feasible for me to do it. He goes like, yeah, no problem. Like, we're gonna be training in Greece in springtime. Just fly in here for a week and let's see. So I flew in there. In the first 2 days, like, it was like 370K and 280K in the Greece mountains. So like, I got picture and I'm like totally destroyed, but I'm still freaking in it. So he goes like, yeah, you got a lot of work to do, but it's doable, whatever. And I was like, man, it's no way I can get ready in 9 months for this race. Like, I got a family, I own my own business, I got to work. I was like, I make you a deal. Like, if you work with me for another year, I will go 2017. I want it. We just cannot rush it because I'm way too far from even, possibly succeed first half. He goes like, he wasn't too stoked hearing that, but he was like, yeah, no worries. So he went 2016. He had a huge crash, broke his pelvis and couple ribs and stuff. So that kind of put it back on hold. But in the meanwhile, as he was training for 2016, I was available to go with him to a lot of places. So I raced Ceres Rally 2016. I did the Dakar Rally in October 2016. But prior to that, I did plenty of races in 2015, like both Ceres rallies. I did the first Merzuga in October 2015, which was huge. So after when he got hurt, he couldn't train or do anything. Almost to I think first time he threw the leg over the bike was August 2016. So he literally only prepped himself for 5 months to be available, go back to 2017. And I was just collecting all these races because back in the day, they required pretty decent resume for you to even, to get accepted. So, but then they said, if you finish Merzuga 2016 again, you will get accepted because like that was like they made the Merzuga to be like a breaking point. Like whoever finished that race, it will get it. So I actually had my friend from Slovakia, Svitko, who's a pretty good racer. He brought the bike there for me because at that time my body couldn't even drive yet and stuff. So he bought a bike there. I flew there. I raced Merzuga, finished, sealed the deal, ready for 2017. I did still couple other rallies in the meanwhile, like Baja Rally in October and all that, and went to my first Dakar was 2017. That was the one we started in Uruguay, go to Argentina, and then Bolivia, and a finish in Argentina again. So that was the first one. That was pretty rough. I think I end up I think it's 68 or something like that, but it was tough. It was a tough year. So then I did a 2018, and like I always had this friend of mine, Bill Conger from Charlotte, who would help me like here because he was doing a bunch of rally and he went to Dakar previously and had a bike failure early on. So I knew he had one of those monkey on his back still with Dakar. I was like, hey, Andre just built this good support vehicle. We can go. Let's race. So he goes like, yeah, man, let's do it. So we went. It was the 40th anniversary. That was the one that Mark Coma did. That was the 14-day Dakar also. It wasn't just the 12-day. And it was super good. We had 4 riders actually in our tent, but only 2 of us finished. The owner, Andre, he had a really bad crash on day 3. He ended up being in induced coma for 12 days or something like that. We had a first Czech female on our team. I think she ended up breaking her collarbone on a day 7 or 8. But me and my buddy Bill finished, like, he finished absolutely unharmed. I had a crash like 3K before finish line the last day and end up breaking my leg and tearing my shoulder. But I still was able to climb on the bike with all the adrenaline and get it through finish line and get the bike to Parc Fermé and finish it up. So that was the 17. The 18 came, and I was like, yeah, that was only Peru. I was like, no, 19. 19 came, that was only Peru. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to do it. And then out of nowhere, Skyler and Garrett reached out there. Skyler won his entry, and they didn't have really the team to go with. And I was like, yeah, it's a possibility. So they he's ended up going with us, with Garrett. And because like they were from here, I was like, man, I kind of got to go because like I don't want to just send them there. Like I know Andre speaks decent English, but like I was like, I want to be there when Skyler races and stuff like that. So we did the 2019. Obviously, after that, Andre stopped racing. Like I don't think he will ride motorcycle, just only for fun, maybe, but like not racing. So me and him always had this joke, like if we're gonna do Last Dakar, it has to be Malamoto. Like you gotta end it like the traditional way. So I was like, you know what, like I gotta stay true to that. So I went to Saudi for first year, and that's why I signed up.
Hey guys, what's going on? Super quick break in the podcast episode. I hope you guys are enjoying. I just wanted to mention really quick, I've been using the Anchor.fm platform for all of the podcast distribution and everything, and it is very, very simple. So if you guys have been thinking about getting into your own podcast, doing your own thing, talking about your own adventures and what you've got going on your side of the planet, it is very, very simple. All you got to do is go down to your app store, whatever that may be, if it's Android or if it's on Apple, download the Anchor app, or you can also go to Anchor.fm, create an account, and get started. It is super, super simple. So anyway, with that being said, back to the episode.
For Malamoto there.
Nice. And that, I mean, that's, yeah, I talk about a way, to end it or where you're going to finish at, right? And in the Malamoto class, the toughest class, I would say, in the history of the Dakar. I mean, that originally that's how it started, but that's I think why they went with the original's name.
Yes. Nice.
And just to clarify, so I know that the year that Garrett and Skyler went with you guys, and so that's Andre. I'm guessing that's his last name on the bike, on all of the bikes. I just don't know how to pronounce it.
It's a Klimchev. It's his last name.
Klimchev. Okay, yeah. So he's the team owner, and it was basically the four of you guys.
Yes. Okay. And that Czech girl went again, and she did finish. So she was the first Czech female finish in Dakar too. So
nice.
That year when we all went. So because Andre had all that already built. Like he knew he's not going to be racing, but he had the bikes, truck, everything. So he was actually planning to do like a support thing, but then the Dakar Classics came, an opportunity for him to get back to racing in the car came, which is a little bit safer for him. You do have a roll cage and stuff like that. So he scrapped the moto program and went full on with that. And that's why I went to race the car with him to navigate for him, because I was like, if this is what gets you back to racing, he had to call me like 8 times. I was like, man, like I have no interest in it, but like, just like, some of my best and closest friends I met through riding motorcycles. And so, and always any motorcycle adventure and stuff I had was nothing but awesome. So I was just like, if that helps you to get back, let's go. But like, then he wanted me to go last year. I was just like, no, I'm not going. It's no way. If I ever go back to Dakar, it's on the bike.
Yeah. Yeah, the passion and the true spirit of it isn't. I mean, the vehicles, yes, the big semis, yes, but in the end, I think it's all about the motorcycles. I mean, this is a motorcycle race to me.
See, I don't get that excited about vehicles and big semis at all. Like, because they when you're racing, they are scary. Like for like us, like mid-pack guys, or like still being true amateurs. Like I think the last Dakar, I was very stoked because like for half of the days, the top cars didn't catch me, but like the top 3 to 5 cars, they catch all the way to like 50th place every day. Ooh. They go fast. They start 30 minutes after last bike, and they are quick, and like in my first Dakar, I had 2 bad days, and the couple first trucks catch you. They don't care. Oh. Your buzzer goes off, and you better get out of the way. Like they go quick.
Yeah, and I mean, I know they have. I think it was the then, or it may still be, is the Sentinel system where they can basically page you to let you know that they're within proximity. But then it's like, do you turn around and figure it out? Do you stay the course? Do you move left? Do you move right? Is there an etiquette for that, or?
You just go by your gut and you just try. You kind of know, hey, this is the main path. This is the race line. Just get off the race line. It's just, but like a lot of times, like, if he's coming up with you and you're in the 2 4-foot ruts of fash, you're not going to get out that rut that easy. No. And I don't know if that happened to Joey Evans from South Africa or somebody, like, I think it was one of the years I raced. He got out, but his bike stayed in the rut, and either car or truck run it over. And he ended up like finding another bike not too far. Somebody crashed out not too far, so he took a gas tank and ripped all the parts he could off of it and finish. Like, that guy has like an amazing story on that. But yes, so it's and I think that's what brings everyone back to Dakar. It's like it's the ultimate challenge. You have to be resourceful, like it's and I think it's more challenging for anybody who's not as skilled or being on the true amateur level. It's obviously the factory guys and top guys. Like, yeah, it's super challenging for them also, and then they are the one who opens and everything, but they usually finish I think first Dakar I was coming like 3 hours after the leader every day, and then last one I think I cut it down to like hour and a half, but still every day you come. So over 12 days I think I was 12 hours behind the winner, so that's the difference. It's like those guys are absolute animals. But
well, yeah, the ability to do what they do. I mean, they've squared away. I think in that class and what they run, you have to be a very fast rider. You have to be very proficient and not ride really fast and expend the least amount of energy possible. Is there, and their riding ability allows them to do that, right? They're very natural, very, very flowy on the bike, don't have to force anything, but then they have to save all of that for the navigation side of it. So it's like solving math problems while trying to do 90, on a closed course, right? Nobody listening at home, we don't want you guys to go do this on a freeway, but there's that certain ability that they've just worked on for so long, I feel like.
Yeah, they train that, and they have, that's why they the best guys, and that's why everybody looks up to them. Doesn't matter if it's if it's a fully factory guy, but it's a lot of fast guys there. Like, they are still, privateers, and they keep finishing, in the top 10, so in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah. Well, and this is, and all of this, to kind of recap, all of this stemmed from going to the alt-rider Taste of Dakar in 2014.
That kind of like gave me the taste of rally, and I wanted to figure out what rally is. Yeah. The main breaking point was to go and visit my friend in 2015. Like, that's the difference. Like, the terrain in Saudi, it's awesome. It's a great place for racing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you have a starting ceremony, it's like 3,000 people. When I went to Uruguay, and or when I went to 2015, when I went to witness the starting ceremony in Buenos Aires, it was 65,000 people in their main square. Like the South America lives and breathes any kind of motorsport. Doesn't matter if it's Formula One, if it's Dakar, if it's they love it. Like, you will be leaving Bivouac at 4:30 a.m. in Bolivia. It's rainy, crappy weather, cold, and you will have families with kids and Bolivian flags waving at you, cheering you on. Like, and that was mind blowing for me, for being like nobody and total amateur and seeing all that. They look at you, dude, this guy is a racer.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what will always be missed in Saudi. It's not, maybe if they will end it in Dubai, will be more spectators, but like Saudi doesn't have that.
Yeah. You know, you're saying that, and I'm trying to picture it, and I'm getting goosebumps, you know, just imagining the amount of people. And it is, like you said, I mean, if you see any form of motorsport televised in South America, you know, or that's partaking, or it's happening in South America, and they're televising it to the world, and you see the passion of the fans and everything going on, it's just absolutely crazy. And I'm just trying to imagine, you know, you living that and getting to see that in person, and 65,000 people, you know, there to see a bunch of guys that ride dirt bikes and follow these squiggly lines, you know, in the middle, through the middle of nowhere.
They come for the cars and trucks. They want to see all of it, but like, it's incredible. Like, my first Dakar was 126. So just by the number, it tells you nobody. Mm-hmm. And like these people, like, obviously, you know, it's fans, and you wait in on your turn, and this parent will reach me like a 2-year-old kid will want you to hold it and take a picture with his child. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So my next question, which I think I already know the answer to, is Saudi versus South America. South America is the place to be. You would think, right?
If I take the whole spectrum, yes.
Okay.
The fans, the terrain, obviously skip Bolivia. I don't think you will find anybody on your podcast who says like, "Hey, I love racing in Bolivia." It's always high altitude, always rainy. If the stages ever got canceled because too much rain and everything, was always in Bolivia. But Argentina, part of Peru. I never raced Chile. I think one time the Dakar went through Chile, and I heard from a lot of guys was amazing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So for me, it was always, and you know, you get, obviously you don't get to see to the detail where you can just ride there and like look at the scenery, but like the scenery you see all the time different. I think everything about it was much better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's, you know, and I've heard it a few times, and a lot of it stemmed from the spectators and the culture and the family. Not to say that Saudi Arabia and the places that they're at now don't have any culture. It's just very different. But the number of fans, the just the kind of general excitement in the ambient settings that you get, or the ambiance that you get, is just way more energy. Way more of a buzz, it seems like, in South America versus where they're at now in Saudi.
Yes, for the spectator view, for sure. Terrain wise, I think Saudi has a great terrain. Mm-hmm. The dunes, I think in 2020, when they run them the opposite way, and they changed the faces, and they were super steep and stuff. Mm-hmm. Pretty much for everybody, not off guard, but it was like eye opener, because nobody was used to the dunes like that. They were not easy to read. Mm-hmm. Like, really, really awesome from the top. And the moment you come, it's going to be like a giant 4-foot G out on the bottom of it, or they're going to be like super steep. Mm-hmm. So that was the only thing. But other than that, like, they have amazing terrain. But the spectator part is, I don't think it will ever get there. Same way, I don't think it will never go back to South America. These countries are broke. Mm-hmm. Argentina's broke. Bolivia was already broke at the time when we were there. So I don't think that will go back there. So I think it will stay in Saudi for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Saudi maybe try and move back, which would be interesting because you have the Africa Eco Race that now basically runs the original Dakar route. So, that could be interesting, but I agree. It was probably going to be there for a few years for sure. But
spectator-wise, will be the same like Saudi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not going to grow much.
Yeah, so you will have maybe some spectators. I think they start in the Monte Carlo or something. So, it will be interesting. I raced a lot of the parts of the Morocco and stuff like that. Never raced Mauritania and stuff like that. But it will be interesting if they go back. It were the talks at the one time they will go like Saudi, Jordan, Egypt. Mm-hmm. But and they already did like a Bayard Jordan for cars. But I don't think it will go that route. But like finish by Giza, by pyramids.
Oh yeah,
that would be something.
That would be amazing. Because there is. That's to say, in Riyadh and where the finish is now, and just there are some very spectacular landscapes. But then there's more to be seen. And I think that would be, and the tourism, right? Because it's still you as the big a production that the Dakar is, it still brings a lot of people from the outside. That are part of the organization or volunteers or just crew members even. So,
yeah, they bring talent. It's like a small city. Yeah. Like back in the day, they used some planes, but mainly semi-trucks and buses in South America. But in Saudi, they hire, it's 3 Boeing planes, and they move every day. They move the organization from bivouac to bivouac, and they move all the stuff. So it's huge how many people is in the bivouac and how many portions of food and water and all that get used. So
that's crazy.
I understand why it's not easy just to go there, but as much as it's no fans in Saudi, if they would just do Dakar only in Peru like they did that 1 year, might as well stay in Saudi. The Dakar just in Peru. Mm-hmm. We literally probably cover every kilometer of Peru in that race.
Yeah, just going back and forth and over the tracks and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, maybe Nathan Rafferty has a different view on it. He raced that one. But it just was literally, we went from one side on the one edge of Peru, then a little bit to the bottom, and on the other side and back across the one sand dune section. We ran 2 days almost. So that wasn't as interesting as the previous ones. I think the one that Mark Coma did, that was the 40th anniversary. Mm-hmm. I think that was the 2018 and 2017. Those was pretty good routes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it would have been great to see it down there, but it's moved on.
Yeah, it's moved on. It's next chapter.
Yeah, exactly. It's reached its next. So you've done all of these rallies and can you say, is the Dakar your favorite, or are there others that you're more fond of?
Every rally has something different. I pretty much, and I took a couple of my friends there. We did that rally in Greece, used to call Ceres Rally. Now it's it's kind of like a Hellas rally, but it's more in the mountains, a little bit more chill. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of these little rallies in Greece are amazing. I really liked Merzouga because it was a lot of sand dunes, a lot of pistas. The closest race, I think it's absolutely amazing race for us to do. It's a Sonora rally. That one has pretty much all what you can think of. Mm-hmm. But the funny thing is, as many of these you do, and you think, okay, I will have an idea. I did 6-day Merzouga, I did 7-day Ceres, I did this. till you go the first Dakar, you have no idea. The Dakar by itself, it's its own animal. The amount of kilometers, the amount of liaisons, the weather changes. Like that one year when we started Uruguay, we went to Argentina and we were crossing Andes. Like we went from almost sea level to 12.5 or 14,000 feet with snow on the ground when we were crossing the ridge line of Andes. And you were leaving in the morning, it was 98 degrees, so nobody packed fur coat for that. So everybody got a little chilly, you know. So things like that, like, you know, that's, I would say it's so many beautiful rallies, but none of them they can give you a rough idea, and they definitely amazing preparation. They not even close to Dakar.
Gotcha. It's, yeah, like you said, I mean, it's the terrains, everything that gets crossed and done, and just, you know, I can see it. You know, you don't really, I mean, in the Saudi, you're in the desert, and you expect to be in the desert, and that's just where you're going to be. Where it sounds like there, you know, and in South America, you really do truly get a whole blend of the different, you know, the different terrains, sand and mountains and rocks and rain and snow and, you know, all of it. Which, man, even more, you know, it kind of makes it, I'm not going to say sad, but, you know, it would have been awesome to continue to see it down there because of, you know, that, and then obviously the fans.
Yeah, but also the last year was very similar weather-wise. Seems like it's to what the changes of temperatures been. Like I think last year, just watching it, and we did, like when you go up to area called Neom in Saudi, it was like I think like 38 degrees at night when we slept. So it did get cold there. Like I did. Was a couple cold days, and I think last year guys have a lot of cold days and some rainy days. Was unusual amount of the rain, so I wouldn't just say like, "Hey, Saudi's all sunny and nice." I think it's because it's such a big country, it still gives the huge variety. But like, you know, in Bolivia, it was like cold and rainy for 3 days straight. So that's not in Saudi. Like I haven't watched every day, but like I haven't raced stage in Saudi where it was raining for 70% of the day. In Bolivia, that's normal.
Yeah. Wow. So, you know, like I said, each rally and version, I mean, not to take anything away from it, but each one has its kind of its own character.
Yeah, it is. And trust me, the organizers make sure they keep it Dakar. Like when people like, you know, sometimes you read these comments and stuff, and obviously all these is just my opinions, but like they say like, oh yeah, Dakar lost its taste. It's like, no, it's still grueling and brutal, like it always was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you're never going to get away from it. And then this year, right, you know, the different rule changes that they've gone through, but then also lengthening it, right? It's going to be more racing, less liaison, but also 2 more days. This is kind of going back into more of a racing and not so much.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm curious how they gonna do all that. I hope they cut some liaisons off, but like they always have to be near big city because they transport majority of by trucks and planes, and you know, it's so much to move. So yeah, I hope they cut some of those liaisons out because it's long time on the saddle for no reason.
Yeah, just commuting.
Yeah, you just commuting. Like that will be like you go, I don't know, for 200 miles just to the starter stage sometimes. So you get there and you already have 200 miles, and then you start your race day. So it's like that hopefully will not be the case, but we'll see how it goes. But also, you know, being 14 days. I think every Dakar that had 14 days, it's always been like a 1 day canceled or stage shortened or stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope it's all 14 days.
Yeah. No,
It will
yeah,
make it in.
It'll definitely make it more challenging. So I mean, in getting ready for this year, right? You've already been there. You've already gone a few years. You've already been to Saudi. Let's talk preparation. I mean, are you the workouts, the bikes? I mean, what does that look like for you in preparing for the 23 Dakar?
So luckily for me, and it's one of the other reasons why it's bringing me back, not just to be able to race as an American and pretty much thank all my friends and like people, they helped me here to actually be like, hey, thanks for help. Let's put the USA flag next to my name and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Is I sold my business in February. Mm-hmm. My last day was April. So I used to own the retail store, which is always gets super hectic around Christmas, like 20 days of Christmas is absolute hell. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually very curious what mindset I can bring to Dakar, like we're actually not having working 12, 14 hours a day, 20 days prior to Dakar, and then get on the plane and fly and go race. So other than that, like I'm super thankful for like a lot of my riding friends I made through this time of the short, like 6-7 years of racing dirt bikes. Like the time I just spent with Skyler was absolutely unbelievable. Like I never really rode bike in Utah, and some of I've been around Paramount and Dumont and stuff like that, but like all those riding areas absolutely mind blowing. And so I'm just try to work on my fitness, riding as much as I can. It's and just be as prep as I can be. Like I think this year I can prep myself the best, but obviously the age and recovery start becoming a factor. The body doesn't bounce back as well. Mm-hmm. That's not saying I'm old, but it's just like if you hammer out gym at the morning, then you go ride a dirt bike. Even if you just go to the motocross track or whatever, you hammer up a couple hours of the dirt bike and stuff. The next morning you feel it, So it's and start to do it again. So yeah, I'm just curious how it's all gonna be. And my best result, actually, surprised out of all the Dakars, was when I was racing Malamoto. So I'm interested to see if I can at least duplicate it or make it better.
Yeah. Yeah. The competition is yourself and then finish. I mean, right. That's, first and foremost.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's every year where we started, and I know like it was like a big debate in the previous podcast, how many guys actually starting. Mm-hmm. Every time, like there will be number like 162 or something like that, but they always skip the number. I don't think anybody ever has number 13 and things like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but like every time when I look at like there will be like 64 and then it go to 66 or sometimes. So I think on average it's always about 150 guys started. Mm-hmm. But like it really I never really didn't. What's the interest? How many? Like my goal is to know how many finished and me try to be one of them. Yeah. Because like even if 160 guys starts, it's fine. I think my first Dakar, it's like was like 162 numbers, and I think the only 86 or 92 guys finished. So like pretty much like only 60% of the field finish. Mm-hmm. And if I'm in that 50-60%, I'm stoked. So it's that's kind of how I look at it. But I will be really sad if they start cutting the bikes down, because I think the majority of the media, majority of the people they follow Dakar, they follow for motorcycles. Yeah. And if the case is they cutting the number down, I don't think it's a good move from it. I know they opened a whole new category, the Dakar Classic, and like I think when we raced first 2021, I think it was like only like 40 cars, and now it's like 140. Mm-hmm. So that creates a lot of headache, and it allows a lot of these people with the previous gen winning cars to enter and relive the history. But that should not be on the cost of bikes, because the bikes are always I think, the number one.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I agree with you. It will be sad because we've seen that in organizations here. Like, I mean, like, for instance, Score in down here in Baja California is this kind of the same thing, is that the trophy trucks have kind of taken over the show. And before the heroes of the motorcycles, you know, and those teams, it's just kind of diminished, and safety has become a concern. And I can see where Dakar is concerned about safety, but, you know, now limiting the speed on the bikes, if in fact they are reducing the number of entry of bikes, and then, you know, the vehicle number is increasing. We've had this discussion, and actually it was interesting. We had Andy Kirker from the Score organization on a while back when they were doing the Pro Moto Rally setup that they were trying to do with Score, in talking about that, and some off-channel conversations that I had with some other people that had listened to the show. The bike technology itself, right, has not really grown leaps and bounds like the cars have. The dirt bike is still the 21-inch front tire, the 18-inch rear tire, a 140, a 90/90 in the front. You know, it's still the same tires. There's still the same amount of suspension. You know, there's really nothing that's changed horsepower-wise. It's not like they've grown, you know, exponentially on it. There's a lot of things that at their core they've only really done to make them easier to ride, but not necessarily faster. You know, and meanwhile, in that same time frame, the vehicles are getting bigger tires, are getting more suspension, are getting horsepower. You know, they're getting all of these advantages, all of these things that are just shortening that gap, and really is increasing the closing speed, right? How fast the lead vehicles will catch the last rider. So I'm curious to see too how they manage it, and I hope the answer for them is not, you know, moving away from the bikes, because that's just I think it would be very off-putting to a lot of people. You know, and to them, I mean, as a customer base, I think you have more guys that are ready to go on a motorcycle than you do in a vehicle.
Yeah, probably, for sure. But like now with the classic category, like I'm surprised how fast that category grew. Mm-hmm. Like it pretty much almost double or almost triple the entries from the year 1 year to another. Mm-hmm. So it's that's a different thing about that. The bikes, I don't know. Like I think the regulating the speed, obviously everybody wants everybody get home after each stage and safety and everything. But like when they were racing the 690s bore out to 710 back in the day, mm-hmm. those things were viciously fast. Yeah. Like it's like make the road book more difficult to slow them down through terrain or something like that. Like it's and even false, sadly to say, like the 2020 we had 2 casualties. I don't know how fast Concaves was going, but like where my friend pretty much not passed away, but like they resuscitated him, he maybe were going 80 kilometers an hour max. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's not gonna, I think the putting restrictor on the bike's not gonna slow the guys down. And like, no. Quite honestly, I don't think the factory guys are wired to be slowed down. Those guys are pro racers. Mm-hmm. And they go there with the mind they want to win. Yeah. And they're going to ride the bike as fast through the sections and the terrain it allows them to.
Yeah. And
so you put a restrictor on the bike for 160, but then it's going to be a camel grass section for 30K. The guy's still going to push, you know, somebody will go 60K there. They're going to go 80. Mm-hmm. You know, so I think it's going to actually push the guys push the guys to the limit in the areas where, you know, they will maybe go a little slower, but because they cannot open up on the plateaus and wider roads, they're going to try to make up time there. Yeah. You know, I think the silliest rules was the one where they took the tires away from the guys. I thought that was the most dangerous thing they can do. Mm-hmm. For them as a pro racers. Yeah. Because like cars can change 6 tires every day. Like you get 3 flats, 2 flats, you get new ones, then you start with the new ones. Mm-hmm. and then you limit guys to one set of tires per 2 days. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that, and that didn't last long either. So I'm glad, because I think that definitely put these guys more in danger than any kind of speed.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and that was something that was, and briefly, the running joke that I've brought up a couple of times, and even when Ricky Brabeck was on, it was that the next is going to be 2 strokes and 150 cc. They're going to start limiting the cc's and making the bikes physically, they just cannot go that fast, which then is only going to drive the factories to make the bike go that much faster, because then it becomes the horsepower race. Who can get the most out of it, and maybe we can make our engine, increase it 2,000 RPMs on the rev limiter, but that means we get some of our top speed back, and it only increases the area in which, how you say it, the factory rider, or to me, a racer, a guy that's pro level factory, is always pushing to go fast, and now it's going to push them to go faster in just past that comfort zone. And I think that's what becomes the problem, is these guys are used to going fast and they know exactly what the bike will do, but now it will start to push them just a little bit further. If I stay in it just a little bit longer, if they really start pushing for that edge, not to say that they're not now, but I think there will be a noted difference if they continue on the path of trying to limit the bike speed, limit the, maybe if they go horsepower, if they go, there's, I think, a lot of things that now, granted, these organizations are supposed to be looking far ahead and have some kind of a game plan. But, like you said, the tire choice is kind of like, well, what was the thought behind that? Because that feels more like a safety issue than it did achieve anything. Because, again, same thing, talking to Ricky Brabeck was not worried about the tire rule because he rides in a manner where he doesn't chew up tires. So not really a deal for him. So
no, but you can still slash the sidewall over the rock.
Oh, yeah.
And not have an option to, or you lose it. Like, I'm sure some guys didn't bother the rules, but like, what happened to if it's not broken, don't fix it? Look how many people died in Formula One. Mm-hmm. Do they regulate their speed? No, they still go 300 kilometers an hour.
Yeah. Well, they make the cars narrower to try and slow them down.
Yeah, and they made them they never touch the top speed. Top speed is still there.
Yeah.
Yes, safety improved. They have halos. They have better speed. They have all kinds of stuff. I'm not saying they didn't.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's and I don't think they can go lesser CCs. Like, you have engine has to last you 14 days. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't see the 300 motor getting run the way it would last, like, in the moment I don't know what's the penalty for engine, if it's 15 minutes or 30 minutes or something like that. But like, that nobody's going to want to take these penalties and stuff that could look what's the difference between the top 5 guys. Mm-hmm. If you lose the engine, it's like you added a chance to win it. And all these guys, like, that doesn't matter if it's Ricky, Skyler, Matthias, Toby, they go there to win. Mm-hmm. They not go there like me, see if I get a better result or if I want to finish and stuff. These guys go there to be a next Dakar winner and bring that Bedouin trophy home. That's only what they thinking. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I admire that, but like, I think they comfortable go 180 on the long straightaway where it's no cautions. Let them go 180. Yeah,
well, like, I agree. Last year they had an issue with one of the courses that was a bit too rough, and a lot of people decided that this is too rough. It's too much, and
slow down.
That's exactly my thought. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute. Okay, first of all, is it any of the top 10 guys that are riding like that? No. So let them ride the way they ride, and then just back it down. The most dangerous rider is the one that's riding in over their head. And so if you, as a culture in motorsport and dirt bike racing, growing up, when I rode anything or drove anything, race cars or anything, don't drive over your head. Don't ride over your head. You know, it was a very ingrained thing. So for me to hear that, it's like, okay, well, do you mean that if the terrain was flat, you would have outpaced your other two competitors in front of you? And just because it's too rough, that's why you felt you were at a disadvantage? And then that goes back to, you know, thinking, well, wait a minute. If you can do 100, they can do 100. So if the terrain was less rough or more rough, it doesn't matter. You're all going to be going faster collectively. It's not that one or the other is going to be faster than the other, unless you've got some top secret, you know, you're supposed to be in a 450 and it happens to be a 485. You know, that's a whole nother, you know, deal. So I'm with you. I struggle with a lot of these things. It's like, are they really achieving what they want? And now they've set a precedent. Hey, guys, if we all get together and complain at the gas stop that it's too rough, the organization will listen to us and they will cut a stage short. Meanwhile, you put out all these guys up top, and the guy that was at the bottom of the pack or maybe struggling or they got lucky and was behind gets stopped there, and they say, well, we're cutting the stage here. Well, now his result, okay, yeah, his result is maybe still the same, except for the fact that he just rode half the distance that the pro guys did. And in the Dakar, half the distance is a big deal. Yeah,
it is. And it's like but they not always listen to you. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember like all the guys were protesting. They don't want cars go first. And when they let cars go first, I think that's one of the most unsafe things they can do to these top guys, because the rocks they will see, mm-hmm. they covered, because the sand and the cars pushes them down, but your front wheel will find it. Mm-hmm. So and they still didn't cancel the stage or change it. And that in my eyes, that's the most dangerous things they can do if they let cars go before bikes.
Gotcha.
Like for us, like even if they just wanted to have it to spice it up or wanted to get cars ahead, mm-hmm. don't do it to top 25 guys. You know, like, yeah, do it to us, to Wookiees. Let top 25 guys go, and then let top 20 cars go after them, and then let us out. Mm-hmm. So the fast people don't, and we would suffer, which probably will not be as fair neither, but like, don't do it to those pro guys, because that's, in my eyes, that's the most dangerous things. These guys starting off the cars, it's absolutely unsafe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting point. You know, what would happen if they changed the starting order in a way where, okay, the pro level riders, you know, riders in this class from here to here are going to be allowed to go first, and then you're going to have the faster cars behind them, knowing that the difference in speed, the closing speed between the two the difference is not as big. Right. If you have, you know, the reason the cars penetrate so far into the motorcycle field is because the field that they're cutting into are guys that maybe their average kilometer per hour is, you know, 45 kilometers an hour. Right. Just to throw out a number, or 60 kilometers an hour. That's their average pace. But yet the lead cars are at 80 and 90 kilometers an hour, 100 kilometers an hour average pace, where the top bikes are 90, 80. You know, they get more in that half hour space than you would do with some of the slower riders in the group, right? Or the guys that are there to get to the finish. There's a difference between the guys that are there to get to the finish and the guys that are there to win.
Oh, 100%.
So, you know, there could be some separation there. There could be, I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of things that the organization can do, and we just cross our fingers, right? That they're picking the right thing.
I think everything's fine. Like with it, like I think the reason why they let the all bikes go is because helicopters and stuff, so they wanted to get it all out of the way first. But you know, that was my point. I'm not necessarily try to be advocate to break it up. I'm just saying, like, do not let the cars go before the guys. That's That's the thing. And if you wanted to, for sure, that was my solution, just break the field for the one day. But other than that, I think the bikes needs to go first, because the amount of helicopters and stuff, it's when you get back, you still have, if you do Male Moto, you still have a lot of work to do, and you need a time to recover and stuff like that. So, the cars coming back later, they have much more lights and stuff like that. Like if they push bikes back, some of the guys will be maybe finishing the stage in dark, and the rally bike doesn't have enough lights, safely navigate the stage in dark.
Yeah.
So I don't want to affect any of that. I was just want to point it out, like whatever they try to do to protect guys, the moment they send the cars first, they pretty much just took everything away. Yeah,
no, and I agree with that. And something that's interesting, if they are in fact removing or limiting the entrance of the motorcycles, if they kept the same starting pace and then said, well, traditionally, if they would normally let in 150 motorcycles and they only let in, right, these are just hypothetical numbers, right? If they normally would let in 150 and now they're only letting in 100, well, now they bought themselves 50 minutes or 50 bikes worth of time to launch them. So in theory, you could extend the time between the last motorcycle and the first vehicle. If in fact they limited it. So I hope maybe that's what they're getting at. Maybe that's what they're doing. Hopefully they don't keep that same half hour and then just, okay, we're good. We're just shortening up the whole progress. Hopefully that's what they're after and maybe do. So I don't know.
We will find out in 4 months.
Yeah, I know, right? It's only a four short months. Yeah. So moving on. So the electronic roadbook thing, what are you, that's one of the things that they've been controlling and working on. How do you feel about electronic roadbooks versus paper?
So I think paper, it's always like the soul of the rally. Mm-hmm. And, even thought it takes you about 1.5 to 2 hours coloring. So for Male Moto, when we got the road books in the morning and you don't have to color road book, it was huge for doing it. I think electronic road books is going to be fine, but they have to test them. They have to run them for a while. So this year will be paper again. Mm-hmm. And I actually think that 2024 might still be a paper. Mm-hmm. But they will be already start testing the thing. I don't know how they're going to get around the glare on those road books. It's so we'll see how that goes. And I wonder how durable that going to be. Because even if you crash over the handlebars, break your tower road book, you can still pull the piece of paper out and somewhat roll it or somewhat shove it somewhere, even if you have to stop every 20, 30K to move it. You have a still way how to figure it out. Mm-hmm. If you crash it, break the screen on the electronic roadbook, you left with nothing. Mm-hmm. So you either lucky enough, you crash early enough, you can latch onto somebody and hope he's
knows how to navigate.
Knows how to navigate and literally just be really close to his back tire so he picks up all the cautions for you. Mm-hmm. Because that's what's actually, for me, the roadbook second most important thing is that they're marked the cautions where you would least expect it. So stuff like that. So I'm not against one or the other. I think it's everything improved, right? Like back in the day, you had a huge satellite phone you carried in the briefcase. Now you have an iPhone 10 in your pocket. So everything evolves forward. So eventually, I think electronic roadbooks will be the norm, but I think we need more time to design them, test them, and then they get put into use. But I think that's just the way how everything goes forward. Plus, it might be a little cheaper for a lot of people to get into it down the line. You just buy one screen and you mount it on and it will do your auto, they will do your all the things. Like right now, what do you have? You have one rally cam. What's the rally cost you? $400? Mm-hmm. Right? I don't even know. Then you have two Erie tracks or whatever, the repeaters on the top, I think they are 700 euros each or 700 euros together.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 1,000, 1,100 euros just in the three gauges, and you still haven't purchased your road book yet.
Yeah.
So I think it will make a lot of the things much more simpler.
Mm-hmm.
And sharing files and sharing the road books, like, you just save it in the file, and then you can send it to somebody or put it in a Dropbox and send somebody the link. Be like, hey, you want to go write this road book tomorrow? Here is the file, and the guy just downloaded it. You don't have to print out 150 pages, cut them, tape them together, and stuff like that. Which a lot of it is kind of the fun part, especially if you do it with your friends and hanging out. But like when you racing and stuff, it saves you a time. So it's
yeah. I don't know.
I'm not against it, but I wanted to see how good it's gonna get before we start using it.
Yeah, before it's mandated, and you got to go that route. And I agree with you. I don't think paper will go away anytime soon, especially with as many people that are kind of getting into it now. For the recreational person that's doing it, I think that the things like Drive Mode Dashboard and the Rally Navigator app as well, those are going to be easier, or they're going to provide a easier way for people to get into it, because people have tablets laying around, and they're not, you can't read them in direct sunlight, but that's not the deal. It's not a competitive thing, but there's that. And then, I think you can get away. I mean, there's, manual road book holders, that they use like in these big adventure raid stuff, and that can be had very inexpensively. And then you get the fun of going through a road book, highlighting it, making it yours, giving you a reminder. That's just part of the experience.
Yes, for sure.
So nice. So speaking of, the road books and new setups and things like that. So what were some of the things that you learned, like going into this, like, because we have a lot of listeners that are curious about getting into rally and getting started and doing this thing. So what kind of things can you share with the people listening that may help on their journey of getting into rally?
Yeah, my thing is, like, some people are like truly natural about reading the road book, and they can just glance down and their brain picks up all the information.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I'm not one of them. A lot of times I have to look, few more times and things like that down. And a lot of times, like, you look down for 2 seconds. If you go in fast enough, it could be a difference between the hit and the rock or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, like, train on, the focus on the way how you absorb information as from what you read in. Obviously, for a lot of guys where they don't have to think how to control and ride a dirt bike, when they do it as their pretty much first nature, then they can glance at the road book much more. So I would probably first, before you start any rally, I would say to become somewhat decent in riding the dirt bike. So you actually like can have a minute to look down and check things out and stuff like that. And then just, I'm still learning that. So it's very hard for me to say, but like, I always have to try to learn as soon as you can the way how the person who made the road book saw it and how they think, not what you think, because you didn't make that road book. But if you, and this was one of the things Skyler told me, and then stuff, like, if you look at it from like above, from Google Earth, how that intersection looks like, or how that person saw it, and that's what you try to get out of it, because and I think that's like one of the most things. And also, instead of, just, I'm wrong, let's go back, I have to, well, you can also go forward, just look at the other nodes. And if the next tulips are all three go in a similar cap and you just already head in there, eventually you might hit that main road or something like that. So everybody developing their own thing. Like I said, I'm still learning how to get better at it. It's in navigation, it's always room to improve. So, but the worst mistake is not to go do it. If you're gonna sit home on the couch, you're never gonna ride any rallies. So just for everybody to get out there and try it and do it and try to do it safely, I think it's a first good step. Mm-hmm. And then you develop your own way, like back in the day when people were marking road books, like people will literally mark it by colors and they will know what each color means. And they just look down and they see the color. Oh, it's red. I'm supposed to go right here. So that's kind of my view on that.
Mm-hmm. Just get out. First of all, get off the couch. You've probably already heard enough episodes or know enough to just say, okay, time to do this. And then from, like you said, is feel comfortable on a bike enough to where you can go and ride, and in the terrain you're familiar with, and then just start doing road books, start navigating them, and that's just the only way to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty much, I think everybody started the same way. They got a roll of paper, they put it in the road book, mm-hmm. and let's see, it's just, always just, I always was like big advocate, like, take somebody with you or make sure like you have a spot on or something like that, especially if you go, somewhere remote, or just put the road book in and be like, oh, I'm freaking going right here. And then your bike break down and you crash or something. And so always kind of remember like, hey, the cell phone service is not going to be everywhere. So either do spot, use the Garmin or whatever, and then just go out there and explore. Like, it's
yeah. And this is a perfect time to say, if you're wearing a spot device or any kind of Garmin or tracking device, please wear it on you and not on the motorcycle. I don't know how many times I've seen that. I see people riding around with spot trackers or even the new like Garmin GPSs, which I kind of get, but they have the same inReach feature, but now they have them on the bike mounted up in front. I'm like, that bike will travel. If you get knocked off the bike could go 100 feet in a straight line before it falls over. And if you're hurt, that is going to be the longest 100 feet you've ever had to, walk, crawl, stumble, whatever, roll to get to it. So, yeah. So if you're listening to this and you have one of those devices, please make sure you have it on you and not on the bike.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree. But if you have a friend or somebody you can drag with you, it's always the best way.
Yeah. So always the buddy system.
Yeah, because chances you both will crash in the same hole, not happening.
One always happens to stop just in time to laugh.
or call for help.
Or call for help. Yeah, well which comes first depends on the severity of the
exactly
of said issue, of said sequence of events. Nice. Well, cool. So what else? I mean, are there any other things, any other rallies that you're planning on doing between now and then? Any other trainings, anything like that?
Not any rallies. I'm planning to do some more training. I haven't decided where, but I would like to go somewhere where it's where I can spend at least 4 or 5 days in the sand. To get more used to it, and just pretty much try to ride a rally bike from now on as much as I can. Not necessarily just with the road book. Just try to get the seat time on the rally bike, because they are a little bit different than like your 350 and 450. But it's they incredible machines. So,
and you have a couple of them now, right? Or what's in the garage?
250, 350, and a rally bike.
Okay, a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Nice.
So I've been lucky. I have a couple of friends. They've been racing all the national enduros, and one of my friends, he bought an RV, so he decided like, oh, this year I want to hit all the national enduros. Only way you have to do, bring your bike and food and hop in. I was like, really? I'm hopping in.
Perfect.
if I can go and I can stay in the RV and stuff. So that's where the enduro bikes come in, and a rally bike. It's I was fortunate enough. One of my really good friend who helped me out last 2 Dakars, he bought it for me as a gift.
Wow.
That was the one I finished 2020 with. So he was like, if you finish Original by Moto, make sure you buy that bike.
Wow.
From Andre. So I was like, yeah, that's so, you know, it's, but they are incredible. Like that one has a lot of sentimental value, but like for me, I look at the motorcycle as your tool.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the tool gets, you know, old enough, usually gets replaced. They are like just, you know, you ride them and then you either replace the motor or you have to replace the whole bike just to keep them fresh because, you know, that's how what you train with. So this one would never get replaced, but like all the previous, but like I remember like my first dirt bike was like XR 250 and I was so attached to it. Like, you know, like because it was your first dirt bike, but then like when I had a third KTM, I was like, okay, well, she has 110 hours, time to go. You know, so
you're old to me, you're dead to me.
Yeah,
on to the next.
Not necessarily like that, but like, what, you're gonna be having the motor apart for month and a half, not ride or whatever. By the time you get all the parts and stuff to fix it, so
yeah,
you know, I do all the work on my bikes myself, like till it has to get like a top end or bottom end or something like that. Then I have a friend of mine, Dad, who helps me out with it a lot. But other than it, everything I do by myself. So I try to keep them fresh and run as long as possible. But then when I sell them, I also want to sell them in somewhat decent life left to whoever gets it. So, and so far it's been the case. I haven't sold a bike to somebody who's been mad at me. At least I don't know about it. So
at least you haven't heard about it.
Yeah. Nice. So,
well, good. Well, I mean, we got 4 months, so you got some training to do. I didn't say it then, but congratulations on the sale of the business. That's I know that's huge and probably a lot off your plate. And like you said, you know, it'll be interesting to see what it's like going into the Dakar in January, not finishing, you know, or finishing before in the month of December with, you know, hundreds of hours dedicated to the business. Now you can dedicate all those hours to your training and the craft before you go out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that all goes too. You know, eventually, you know, I will have to find a job next year somehow. By selling the business, it wasn't like I'm going to full retirement, but I'm super stoked about it because I think it's a lot of things I want to do, and I'm still, you know, can be very active. And I want to approach that. Like, you know, it's not just motorcycles, just even like riding mountain bikes and doing other things or go explore places, hike, you know, it's things like that. So
nice. Yeah. Still plenty of outdoors to get out too.
Yeah. It's just don't sit home.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it. Get out and do it. Nice. Well, cool. Well, Petr, I really appreciate you taking the time with us today and kind of sharing your journey with everybody. And we're definitely going to be in touch, keeping an eye on you for the Dakar.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. I'm pretty sure everybody's, you know, in the same boat, training, prepping, and hopefully we all made it there for the start, and then all make it back.
Yeah.
Same piece.
Absolutely. Yep. And then we'll look for the official post with the number plate.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. All right. Excellent, sir. Well, again, thank you very much for coming on this show, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. See ya. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, there you have it. That was Petr Vlcek, hailing from North Carolina, I believe he's back east. So I had to let him go, man. It's already, you know, it's getting a little later back there, but I'm excited. You know, when Skyler brought it up that he was riding, and I had seen him in a lot of posts, you know, under the Wolfie Racing thing and running around and doing all of this stuff, but I didn't know that the journey had just started, right? I mean, a lot of people that we talked to is like riding dirt bikes, you know, for so many years, you know. Well, I would say Dave Black Couch to Dakar, in a similar boat. Only just picked this up a couple of years ago, but there he is, right? Going to the schools, riding and training. And it's getting harder for us to tell him apart from somebody that hasn't been riding or that's been riding for years. So he's really, really working on the craft, even though there's been a little recent get off and then some stuff. So wishing him a speedy recovery and all, and getting back on the bike, because there's some rallies to do. But that's where I think that, everybody that's here stateside and that kind of rallies together, and helps get other people out there. So we're going to continue on that mission and making that happen. It was great hearing Peter's story and how he got started. And it was just something as simple as going to the Taste of Dakar, not even really a road book event. It was just the kind of a motorcycle trade show kind of deal. And from there, it just grew. And so what are the things that we could be doing and what we could be working on? I've got some plans. I've got some stuff. We've been talking about it for a while. It's really now coming to fruition. The first road books are almost done for it. We're going to be doing some stuff similar to what you would have seen at the Taste of Dakar back then. But the big thing is that there's a lot of adventure bikes out there, a lot of guys in the market. We're going to come up with a real simple way to get a road book holder and a real simple way to get a odometer cap reader with just some basic things, right? And it's just a basic minimal cash outlay. I've already got a plan for you guys that are going to want to participate in something like this that's going to help with creating road books, right? That's the next biggest hurdle. Okay, great. I've got all of this equipment. Now what the hell do I do? Where do I get road books from? Well, I've got a plan for that. I'm working on some stuff to show you guys how to do it. And it's actually very, very simple. Are they Dakar level, professional grade, in the middle of nowhere road books? No. The idea is that this is just road book navigation. And the idea is that you don't know the particular journey that you are on. But like we've said, and I hope you guys have taken it to heart, don't worry, it's going to make sense when you get there. Enjoy the ride. All right, that is the wrap for the Chasing Waypoints podcast this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you heard. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a bunch of others. Also, follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook under Chasing Waypoints, Instagram, Chasing Waypoints _official, and, of course, the YouTube under Chasing Waypoints. Hope everybody has a good week. We will see you guys for the next episode. Remember, shiny side up, and don't forget to tag us. We want to see where you guys are riding and what you guys are up to. Have a great week.